Fine. Okay, so thank you. Um, okay, so we were doing the sugya. There's actually, believe it or not, a lot of practical halacha in tonight's daf. Well, not a lot, but it comes up fairly often. So again, we're talking about the sugya where a guy makes a shliach to marry a woman, and the shliach goes and he backstabs him or double crosses him, right? Double crosses him, and he marries the lady himself.
This comes up in halacha today.
No, it was some form of that, right? So we had said that that the guy's considered a ramai, but lamaisa, what he did goes. What he did stands. So now the Gemara goes through a few stories. The Gemara goes through a few stories of this similar thing. So about 12 lines down from the top on Nun Tes Amud Aleph. Yeah, so Rabin Chasida. Yeah, you see it about Nun Tes Amud Aleph. Rabin Chasida Azl Kedusha Itzel Lebrei. Rabin Chasida went to be Mekadesh a girl for his son, right? The father went. The father was doing his marital duty, and he was not in marital, his fatherly thing. He was going to marry off his kid, right? So kitchel and nafshe, and then what he did is he married her himself. It's pretty wild. Wow. And this is Rabin Chasida was his name too. Yeah, so he decided to marry her himself. But Tanya Masha also Yel Shanag by Minigrama. So while we learned in the Brisa that what he did, he did. If he did it, he did it, but it's considered Minigrama. So how could it be that Rabin Chasida is
who said his son asked him to marry? Maybe he
who made him a shliach?
Yeah, who said his son? Maybe he thought this was a good shliach. He was going to get
he was doing it voluntarily.
Yeah.
And then he said,
maybe
this is better for me.
My son, it's better for me.
Okay, could be. Then there'd be no kasha there. There'd be no kasha. But by the Gemara asking it, well, let's see, because there's a few stories. One of them is going to be like what you're saying, right? So the Gemara says,
Lo
yavu nehele. They weren't going to give, meaning he taka went to get this girl to marry his son, and they said, "Hey, your son doesn't have a good enough resume. We'll give him to you, but not to your son." Right? So Gemara says, so then why didn't the father?
He might have been only 14 years older than his son. He wasn't necessarily 40 years older than his son. He wasn't an old man.
That's true.
He was 29 years old.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, listen, Chafetz Chaim was how many years older than his second wife? 30 years? Something like that. Anyway.
His second wife, he was 30 only?
He was in his 60s.
Okay.
He was
she
30s.
Was okay.
Anyways, so why didn't he tell his son? Right. By the way, the girl said no to you, so therefore I'm marrying her. Right, why did he say that?
Who said he didn't tell his son?
Clearly, he didn't say it. Otherwise, the Gemara wouldn't ask that. Right. So Savar says, if I'm going to wait and go back home and tell my son, by the way, you mind if I date her because she said no to you, then she's going to be taken. So he was concerned for that, so he just married her. Okay, so then the story makes sense. Fine. Rav Chana gave money to Rav. Omar Zavna Lahai Ara. Go buy this land for me, right? A classic case. You go, you tell your friend, you're going to a real estate deal. Do me a favor, take some money of mine, buy for me too. And the friend went and he bought it for himself. Now, he used whose money? Whose money did he use?
He had to use his.
I was
going to say he uses his friends and he stole. And
No. He used his own. The Pashta says he used his own. He didn't take his friend's money. That would be a good shaila if he took his friend's money. Right? This comes up.
I think we had that already.
This comes up a lot where you send your friend, you ask your friend to go buy something for you, right? And you give him $20. And when he gets to the store, it's on sale for $15. right? Can he? The people ask the Shiloh, can he
Keep the 5.
keep the 20? Right?
Tell them to
Keep
put
the
it in the
extra 5
Meister account. Tell them to put the 5,000 in the Meister account.
for the cigarettes, for the soldiers, right? But so or pizza. So they always ask, can they? It's a fairly common question, right? Or the points. You go
Does
to
Naftali do this?
no, I don't know. With me, you're saying he has my credit card. We avoid this issue, at least as far as I know.
Put
I
it
don't
this
know.
way.
It could be
There's
he's
never a
getting-
sale.
We're-
Tiago's getting the
we're-
benefit of it. Okay?
We're
All right,
talking
okay,
about,
relax. Naftali, relax. Don't get nervous.
we're talking about Rav Abba and Rav. We're not talking about the Joe Blow down the street here. This is Rav Abba
Correct. No,
and
but
Rav.
the question is, do you I'll tell you another one it comes up with. So the 4 guys at 4 Bachram are taking a cab, not a cab. What do we call it nowadays? An Uber. So one guy says, okay, I'll put in my Uber account. Then when he goes onto his Uber account, it pops up, oh, you're getting 10% off your next ride. Does he have to tell the Chaverim?
That's the next ride.
Whatever, no, but he's saving 10% because he went on this ride. So does he have to knock it off? No, even from this ride, they said.
Okay.
Or he had a coupon. Does he have to say? Does he not have to say? Okay,
we didn't have these Shilohs when we were going to Yeshiva. It was an $8 car service, had to be split 4 ways. It was very simple.
Correct. And then you
We
start
had to
counting
walk.
change.
There was no cars yet. We had to
Oh,
walk.
okay. Listen, Byron, you got us beat on that one, buddy.
Uphill both ways.
Right.
I don't know. In my days, you had to crank the thing to start the car. So
Yeah.
All right, so that was a stick shift that you rolled down the hill to get it to kickstart. Relax.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's a shiloh. So he went and bought the field for himself. Rav, who was it now? Rav went and bought the field for himself. Atani Masha also he's a minig Ramos. So how can Rav do this? So he said, Ba'agad alimi havale. It was talking about land that belonged to strong people. LaRav Nagi be covered. To Rav, they gave covered. LaRav Barachana Nagi be covered. To Rav Barachana, they were not Noyed covered. So therefore, they would never. So the question is what this means, right? Meaning they weren't Noyed him covered, and therefore they wouldn't.
Sell to him. They wouldn't do business.
What?
They wouldn't do business with him. They wouldn't give him the land.
Is it that the pshat, or did Rav think this is not going to be good for him to buy this land? Me, I could buy the land, right? Meaning, was he protecting? Who was it? Rav Barachana. Was he protecting him, or did they just not sell it? I think the pashut pshat is that they wouldn't have sold it to him, so Rav might as well buy it himself, right? But I think you could read into the words that they may have sold it to him, but Rav is saying, Rav Barachana, it's not for you. It's not good for you. Whatever. Yeah. So then the Gemara says he buy later do. So why didn't he tell him? But in the meantime, if I go back and tell him, by the way, they're not selling you the field, or that the field is no good for you, then somebody else is going to come by it, and it's going to be a lost opportunity. Fine. Rav Gidel have a mahapech bahi ara. Rav Gidel was mahapech, literally means from the word hafach, to turn over, but it means he was going after a certain field. Also, Rabbi Abba Zavna. Rabbi Avna went and bought it. He jumped him, right? Does this sound familiar?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Somebody's going to try and bid on a house, and somebody comes and he jumps him and he buys the house before him. So also Rav Gidel went and Kable le Rav Zera, and he went and he complained to Rav Zera. Right? Meaning he went to complain to Rav Zera that Rav Abba jumped him on a house that he was looking at, or a field. Also Rav Zera v'kiblei le Rav Yitzchak Nafcha. Rav Zera went to Rav Yitzchak Nafcha about it. Amarlei hamten ad sheyaletz eno regel. Why don't we wait till Rav Abba comes up when he's oile regel, and then we'll speak to him about why he did this. Why did he jump this guy? So kisalak ashkechei, when he came up, they found him. Amarlei this is the din of an ani who's going after a piece of cake. And when you see that an ani is eyeing a piece of cake and he's going after it, you're not allowed to take it before him. Right? So ba'achar but not leimenu. Right? So they say again, he asked him, what is the din? If an ani is going after a piece of cake and somebody else comes and takes it away from him. What's the din? My. So what's the din? So Amar Leah, Rababa said back to them, Nikra Russia. He's a Russian. Right? Because he went and he took food away from a poor guy. Velamar, my time of it. So why'd you do this for? Why'd you go take the field that Rav Gidel was going to buy? Amar Leah, Lo Yahavei, I didn't know. Right? I didn't know he was trying to buy that field. I just walked by the field, saw it for sale, so I went in there, put down my money, and bought it. He didn't know. Okay, so
Yaakov,
yeah.
my house that I live in, one of my friends from the yeshiva, I looked at it first, and he came twice with his father. I was already living here as a tenant, and I said, "Are you buying the house?" I said, if you're negotiating them, obviously I'm not going to say a word, nothing. So it turned out they wanted 37.5 for the house.
Wow.
And this I knew you guys would say, wow. This friend of mine makes me look like Dale Carnegie. He is the most adamant guy. When he locks in, he locks in. He says, Aaron, he says, this house, I decided my father, the house is worth 37. I'm not giving you 37.5. I said, buy the house for $500. You want the house? You came twice with your father. He says, no. He says, if you're willing to pay a 37.5, then you take the house because I'm not giving a 37.5. That's what happened with the house.
I mean, they were going to pay cheaper.
He only wanted to pay 37, not 37.5.
Really?
Yeah, Mamish, really. You could call him up now. I'll tell you who it is. You could call him up. That's what happened. That's
all right. So if we offer you 40, that's like a major profit.
What?
I'll buy it for 40 today.
I did not say a word to the people until he said he's not going to do it. I said, then I'm going to talk to him. He said, it's fine, because they talked to him because I'm not going over the 37.
Interesting. So unfortunately, this happens a lot. Now we're busy fighting, but that's what raised the real estate so much, is because we don't have any set system where you go and say, okay, I'm bidding on this house and nobody else should bid. Right? But if we did that, we would save Klal Yisrael a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Maybe that's the next organization that's open up.
Okay, but anyways, okay, so let's see. So Hashtanami Nesvin Nehelimar. So they said to him, okay, give it to him. So good. So you bought the house by mistake. You didn't know the guy was bidding on the house. So give it to him. I don't want to sell it to him. Because it's my first real estate deal. And it's not a good simon to sell my first thing. It's a very interesting saying. It's not a good sign. If you bought a real estate deal and then you have to flip it right away, it's not a good sign. I wonder if that's the source for, the first dollar bill. I don't know why pizza shops have this. Why pizza shops?
All retail stores.
All retail stores have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where this comes from. That your first thing that you earn, you don't get rid of. Okay. He says if he wants, he could have it for free. Right? So Rav Gidel didn't go into it because it's the sign of Matanas Yichya. Somebody who hates Matanas will live. So he didn't want to take it for free. Rav Abba and Rav Abba didn't live in the land because Rav Gidel was trying to buy it. So neither one lived in the land. And it was called the Rabbanon land because it sat empty because neither one of them wanted to go into the land. All right. Yeah. So that's interesting story. Now, so now you think we did the practical halacha? It's not yet. So now what is ani mahapech v'charara? So Rashi says that ani mahapech v'charara is where is it? Where is it? Ani v'charara. It's from Hefker. Either it's from Hefker or a balabas is giving it away. Mashma from Rashi that in business everything is fair. Meaning it's only because it was Hefker that it's a thing. Not if it's business. Right? Right? But Taisvis, this big Taisvis is not he disagrees with the Rashi. Right? So he says that if you look at the end of the Taisvis has a few examples. He says, where does he start? So Rameir, it's interesting also, about halfway up the Taisvis, he quotes Rameir, the father of Rabbeinu Tam. Right? That's Rashi's who?
Brother, I guess.
No, Rabbeinu Tam is his Einakol.
Yeah.
Rabbeinu Tam is his Einakol from the mother or father? From the mother.
From the mother.
So
So it's
Rameir,
Rashi's son-in-law.
Either a son or a son.
right, so Rameir was
had
the
no
son.
sons. He was a son-in-law.
So he's the son. So Rameir, right? Rashi had no sons. Yeah, thank you for reminding me that, Dovi. Right. So thank you. So Rabbeinu Meir, the father of Rabbeinu Tam, he says it's talking about a dead fish. That what? Because what the derech of the fishermen was to put into their nets a dead fish, and then other fish would come after that, and that's how he would catch it. Right? So then somebody else comes and sets up his own shop right next to it. Right? And he could tell him, go fly a kite. This is my spot. This is my spot. Don't come over here. Right? So then, and then Toyston says, "Mikan nira lemarav Yitzchak she'asa lemelamed lahasparatz melabalabayis yesha melamed achar bebeisoi." Calls man shemelamed bebeisoi. Meaning, you can't go if you know. Let's say a guy has a private tutor. You cannot go to the guy's house and say, "Hey, why don't you use me as your kid's rebbe?" Right? Because since he's rented out already, then he can't do it unless the balabas says that he doesn't want to stop it. Right? But if a balabas rents out a Tosis says of him, Sacher balabayas melamed echon, yochel balabayas achar liskoy oisem melamed atzmai. Meaning you can go chap a rebbe from another guy and take the rebbe for yourself. Right? Because he could say, I need this rebbe. So Mamela, Mamela, he's allowed to say, I need this particular rebbe for my kid, even if you already have this rebbe. So bottom line is,
Are you allowed to tell the rebbe you're getting $50 and now you can get $75?
What do you mean? Who's gonna tell him?
A third party.
You just said you could take a rebbe away.
You could take a rebbe away?
The rebbe you could take away.
Why?
A rebbe you can take away because it's
You can't take a job away. You can take a rebbe away.
Why?
Because that's what I'm saying. It's very hard. I can't say I understand exactly which pratim are you allowed to take away. Seems like if it's gonna work for you, then you're allowed to. If you have a specific reason, then you're allowed to.
Are you allowed to take away a principal from a different school?
Oh, so these are where these shilas come up. It
Are you
sounds
allowed
like
Are you allowed to offer the guy from a different job? Or you're making 100,000? You know what? If you come to me, I'll give you 150.
You allowed to take the fundraiser from a different school?
It's a good question.
From
very good
this again, from this Tosis, it sounds like yes. From this Tosis, it sounds like yes.
So why would you be allowed to? Okay.
And what are you not allowed to do?
Mhm.
What?
What are you not allowed to do?
A lot of things you're not allowed to do.
Okay, thank you very much.
No, if a guy is going and sounds like from this case, from the Gemara, if a guy's about to buy a house, you can't jump in.
No, I meant to start his job.
Why not? Why not? If I'm allowed to take away his job, why can't I take away the? No, so why can't I take? Why can't I?
Because it's a different. Okay, I'm saying these halachas are extremely technical. I don't know them
You're
myself.
not taking away a job. You're offering a better job.
But you're ruining it for the other guy.
Right.
You're ruining it for the other guy. Whatever. It's very technical. Exactly. Each case needs to be asked on its own merit.
And ask a different Rav. That's what he's going to say.
Yeah. But anyways, I don't know.
I'm
I just don't
assuming
know this
Rashi
halacha.
agrees to Taisvis' case, correct? Meaning Rashi's a kol shekin. Is it more of a chiddush? No.
Rashi is more of a chiddush that from Hefker.
Yeah, and not from
Yeah.
business.
The chayra, right? If it's Hefker, it sounds like Rashi. Well, I said it before the other way around, but the chayra
Because
Rashi is a bigger.
Rashi has to agree to the business case. The case of the Gemara is a business case.
Right. Yeah, it's true. If something's Hefker, it doesn't belong to anybody, so it's up for grabs basically. But Mashiach taking away somebody's business. Okay, whatever.
Is the case of Mahapik B'chara Habata?
Is what?
Is the case of Mahapik B'chara a case of Habata? But it can't be a case where he actually has Habata, correct?
I don't know.
Because that's the whole shiloh of Kenyan in and of itself.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Then you also have another sugi. What's with Saina Matanas Yichya? So that's it. Somebody comes to your house and he brings a bottle of wine. You tell him Saina Matanas Yichya. You don't take it. Is that the way that works? You shouldn't take it, Zev. I don't know. It doesn't seem like that's the meaning in the belt.
Uh-huh.
So the Shulchan Aruch says, the Lashon in Shulchan Aruch is Midas Chasidus, not to be Makao Matana. Ela Livtoyach B'Hashem, Sheyitin Loi Dei Machsoirei Shenemer B'Saina Matanas Yichya. It's actually good for the Bisman Hazeh. And I'm saying, it sounds like from the Shulchan Aruch that the reason why not to take Matanas is because you should believe in Hashem.
Or maybe Hashem's sending it that way.
Correct. Right. Rabban, you're muted. If you're muted.
My father was
It's a
very
joke. I said the
active
boat, the
on-
helicopter,
on-
and all that stuff.
Right, that's all with the helicopter. I said, yeah. What do you say?
Yeah, how would dinners ever honor people if they're not giving out those Kiddush cups?
Yeah, I don't know, Tucker. I don't know.
Dallas, most people are not really giving gifts. It's not a real gift. They want something in return. I'm coming to your house. I'm giving you a bottle of wine. It's not a gift.
That's a bribe.
Paris,
That's not called a gift. That's a bribe.
Paris, you come to my house for Shabbos. You bring a bottle of wine. I'm not going to accept it.
That's not really a gift. I'm not giving you a gift. Can you imagine I walk by your house and just hand you a bottle of wine? I don't know you. That's a gift. I'm coming to your house. It's a thank you for giving me food.
So that's a thank you is a gift, no?
Yeah, but it's Hakaras HaToiv. So that's what I'm saying from the Lashon of the Shulchan Aruch. From the Lashon of Shulchan Aruch, it's in Choshen Mishpat, Siman Reish Mem Tes. It's mashma that the reason the son is nothing wrong. Why can't I take a matana from a guy? The guy's eating in my house. He wants to show me a Hakaras HaToiv. Why shouldn't I let him feel like he doesn't have to feel like he's a schnorrer? He wants to be makatoiv.
He's not feeling the schnorrer. I have a mitzvah to be makatoiv.
And he has a mitzvah to be makatoiv to you.
So he can say thank you. He doesn't have to give me a present.
Good, but a person wants to give. So it sounds like
I
according to the
understand, so what is the
In the case of Gemara, he's not giving. In the case we had in the Gemara, he's just giving him a piece of land. Doesn't owe him anything. He felt bad. Right. He says, "Here, take the land."
It's a much better piece of land, right? He's giving him some.
No, but it was a business deal, right? So he's giving him a bit. Oh, I'm sorry, I stole your business deal. You know what? The Rebbeinu Shalom will take care of me. The Rebbeinu Shalom will take care of me, right? That's what he would say. So meaning it sounds like that sign of the sign of Matanas Yichya sounds like when it's a major matana, and it could do away with your betachan in the Rebbeinu Shalom, then you shouldn't take it. But if it's a little thing, then it's not a problem.
So why?
You mean a guy makes a shidduch with my daughter, and I have a Hakaras HaToiv, and I'm supposed to give him $2,500, and I say, I'm so makatoiv, I'm giving you $10,000. Am I allowed to give it to him?
Are you allowed to give it to him? Yes. Should he take it? Is the question.
Should he take it?
I don't know if he should take it. It depends why you're giving it. It depends why he's taking it. It depends why you're giving it.
You're giving it because he made your kid shidduch, and he doesn't mind because he could use the $10,000.
Okay, so then, the reason why I disagree with your mushal is because yichya means, that's not a matana. The guy did you a tova. You happen to be paying him extra money.
I said that the going rate is $2,500.
No,
right?
to me, it sounds like the case would be is that you're going into a deal with a guy and you want to get in on the real estate deal. The guy tells you, listen here, you don't have that much money. Don't risk your money. Don't put your money in the deal. here's $10,000, take it, use it, gesundheit. That, to me, would sound like that's where Son of Matanas Yichi is, because you're not putting your faith in the Rebbe Hashem. You want to do a business deal, give it in, and if Hashem wants you to make the money, you'll make the money. That's all. Don't be taking this guy's matana.
And if Hashem wants you to marry this girl, your friend won't grab her. So why is the Ramois over there?
It's not Ramois.
It is. We said if you send the shliach.
There's an amelus.
You're saying when there's no strings attached, don't take the present. But if there's any other string attached, you want to take it.
That's what it sounds like from the Shulchan Aruch. I'm not saying any opinions what it is. That's what it sounds like.
That's what you're quoting the Shulchan Aruch is saying. That's what you're saying.
Correct.
Does that mean if I know you like a certain food item, a certain item, a certain thing? If I'm gonna buy it for you, I see it. I'm gonna buy it for you because we're friends, and I
right.
Shwama.
That sounds like you can. There's no problem taking it, according to the way Shulchan Aruch's mash, right?
We have to learn the whole sugya. I don't know. This is
Peretz has a nice to show you with Rav Nosson Tzvi. Well, actually, Peretz put in a Rav Nosson Tzvi did not have a what we call a portable phone, which I don't even know if we call that. What do we call it anymore? A wireless cordless phone. Peretz put it in for Rav Nosson Tzvi. He would walk around his house with standing up to go get his phone, right? So Peretz put it in a cordless phone for him. Yeah, fine.
Why? Because you were learning with him, Chavrusa. You told your father that he never has no koiches to even lift the phone.
He doesn't let us get the phone for him. He has to get up and get the phone, even though the phone had a long wire, but sometimes he had to go get it. So I didn't have the guts to bring him the phone. Peretz had the guts. It was a good investment. He got kugel every Friday after that. But anyway, when Rav Nosson Tzvi stopped learning with me, he takes $50 out of his pocket and he says, "Here's the money for the phone." I said, "Yeah, it was a matana." He said, "Sign a matana sichya." Okay, so what's I supposed to do?
So he told me this, and I had no idea what he was talking about because I never heard of it before. And I told him, I think my chiyuv deraisa kibbut ava aim trumps whatever you just told me.
Yeah.
Do you remember how much the phone actually cost?
What did he answer?
He took the phone.
He had no answer. He took the phone.
And then he gave me the money because he knew that I don't have to keep it on aim like Peretz did. So Mamela,
Yaakov, he would only know that Tati paid $29 for that in Radio Shack.
That's right. From LaBelle or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Did
Service merchandise.
Get that money? Did parents ever get that money?
No, we gave it to.
I told my father he only gave $30 instead of $50.
We gave the money to the mir. But then I remember asking my father, I said, Rav Nosson Tzvi told me, son of Matanas Yichi. He says, yeah, but it doesn't say you're gonna die if you take it. It just says if you hate the present, you'll live. Doesn't mean you're gonna die. What's wrong with taking it? Okay, Shine. That was that chakra vatari.
Yaakov, gifts you get on Shabbos Stam to accept them as gifts, or to give them as gifts is not so simple.
Well, right. But
you can't give it as a gift anyways.
No, but if
you can't bring over something on Shabbos, right?
No,
you can't give something on Shabbos.
No, but if it's meant to be used on Shabbos, then it's allowed.
But it's not considered a gift then. Then it's really yours.
I thought it has to be used that meal.
Well, there's no Erev in our neighborhood, so what are you guys all talking about?
I roll the bottle. I roll the bottle on the floor.
He's not solo. No, you're not solo guy. You can carry whatever you want.
I carry everything.
No. He ties it to his radio.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why you hear clanking every time I walk. Everything's dragging from my behind.
Yeah. Jesse, I don't know if it has to be used that meal. It can just be used on Shabbos. That's okay. Let's go. Bye. Okay, that's the easy kishmaka part of the daf is over.
Oh, great.
Right. Let me tell you, starting tomorrow, Bez Hashem, the end of tonight's stuff is like, fasten your seatbelts for the next couple of daf. That doesn't mean, Landa, you shouldn't show up. So if a guy tells his wife, be Makadish to me, right? And then what was the case? He said, I'm marrying you after 30 days. And then within the 30 days, somebody else came and married him. So the Gemara asks, let's say nobody else came and married her. So then what's the din? So Rav, meaning again, the case in the Mishnah is after 30 days, he said, marry me in 30 days. 20 days in, somebody else comes and marries her. She accepts the marriage proposal. Fine. What's in the standard case where after 30 days, What are they married? So let's say another guy doesn't come and marry her. So what's the story? Rav Shmuel both said she's married. Even though the money got eaten. Meaning, he gives her money today. He says, I'm marrying you in 30 days from now. Right? She goes and takes the money and she goes on a shopping spree. When is this marriage taking place? 30 days from now. But the money doesn't exist. So then how is she married? Right?
Let's say the money did exist. Let's say the money did exist. There's no Ma'aseh Kiddushin.
Oh, so that's part of the question. Well, there was a Ma'aseh Kiddushin before, but right now,
no, let's say she didn't touch the money. No, but the Ma'aseh Kiddushin is not happening till later. So if your Ma'aseh Kiddushin originally did nothing.
Well, if the money's still there,
the money has nothing to do with your Ma'aseh Kiddushin.
Sure, it does.
But just because the money exists doesn't make it a Ma'aseh Kiddushin.
From Rashi, it's mashma that if the money would be here, it would have the Kiddushin would have what to be challah.
Why? There's no Ma'aseh.
There was a Ma'aseh. He gave her the money. He gave her the money today. He's saying the Kiddushin shouldn't be chal for 30 days from now.
But nothing's happening now. So maybe if there's any Ma'aseh going on.
He did. He gave her money. He gave her money.
But it's not me'achshav. Nothing's going on now.
So that's essentially the same question. When is the Kiddushin chal? Right. So the Gemara says, my timer. Right. So we're saying even though there's no money, she's still married. What's the reason? Hani zuzi loy l'malva dama, but loy l'bekadin. It's not similar to a malva. It's not similar to a bekadin. L'bekadin loy dama. Bekadin means if she was given the money to watch. The bekadin loy dama. Bekadin b'rshus demara kamasachli. Bekadin is in the reshus of its owner. V'hani b'rshus dida kamasachli. Right, and this is in her reshus. Meaning if somebody is watching money, then they're not allowed to really use that money. But if here, it's not, it's her money to use. So therefore, it's not a problem that she ate the money or used the money. Because we said that you're not allowed to be Mekadosh Nisha with a loan. It's not considered a loan. Because we know that a malva, when you lend money, that money is meant to be spent. Here, he didn't give it to her, it's a loan. Even though technically it is a loan because he's not marrying her till after the 30th day, right? But it's Kiddushin money, right? So therefore, it works fine. Then the Gemara asks, but let's say nobody else comes to marry her, and then within the 30 days, she says, "I don't want to marry him anymore." So then, what's the din, right? And Akiva, this is already more of a it's the next step to this. Again, she accepted the money today, but she's not getting married for 30 days. Then within the 30 days, she changed her mind. Right? So what's the din? So Rabbi Yochanan Amar Chayzeres, she can change her mind. Asi diva mavatal diva. Her word comes and is mavatal her word, meaning she agreed to get married, and now she agreed to not get married. So one set of words comes and knocks out another set of words. She can't change her mind. A dibur cannot be mavatal a dibur. Right? Meaning you can't backtrack. Once you agreed, you agreed. Right? Fine. So now the Gemara is going to ask three kashas from Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. So again, the machlokes in Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish is whether one word can come and knock out another word. Right? So Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish, bittul. Let's say a guy made somebody a shliach to take truma for him. And then he went, and the owner said, I don't want him to be the shliach anymore. Right? So imad shaloi taram bittul. If before the shliach took off the truma, he's mavatil him, ain't truma the truma is not a truma. Right? So again, he can basically backtrack. Here it's dibur v'dibur. He made the guy a shliach to separate the trumas, and then before the guy separated the trumas, he took back his shlichus. Because he dibur mavatal dibur, and you see that he's able to backtrack. So you see one dibur is mavatal, another dibur. So it's a kasha on Reish Lakish. Shagman answer shani nesinas ma'is liad isha dechi ma'isa dama. Because there's a added wrinkle here. It's not just pshat that she agreed to get married. She also did a ma'isa. She took money. Dechi ma'isa dama. Even though be'etzim it's not a ma'isa, right? Rashi says, even though this is really for you, Akiva, that if it's not chal miyad. It's still considered a maisa, right? Because she took it to be, even though it's to be chal in 30 days, but we consider that some sort of maisa. And her just backtracking on agreeing to be married is a dibur, and it's being mavatal a maisa. Fine, so esve. A guy sends a get to his wife. The shliach, and then he ran after the shliach before the get was getting. Or he sent another shliach after that first shliach. And he said to him, "Get shenasati love batal who the get that I gave you is batal. Hareze batal, it's batal." So again, it's v'hanasinas get liyad shliach the chinasinas ma'is liyad isha dami. When he gives the get to the shliach, that's a ma'isa. That's not a dibur. V'katani hareze batal, and we said it's batal again. The Gemara is saying. So you said before, according to Reish Lakish, that the Kiddushin, when she took money for the marriage, is a Maisa, and her just backing out is a Dibur being Mavatal Maisa, which can't work. You see by get, which there's a Maisa, because he hands over to get to the Shliach, and he's allowed to go back and change his mind. So how come that works? So Asamnami, Kol Kam Lemot Gita Liyada, as long as she hasn't yet received the get from the Shliach, all it is talk. And one talking can come and without the other talking. Okay, third kasha.
I suppose it would be different if the shaliach was her shaliach receiving the get, because her shaliach receiving the gets, and then that is biyada.
Well, if once the shliach receives it, she has yanachanami. Yeah, must. Yeah, that's true. Right. So then the next case has to do with tuma and tara. So there's two things. When something can become tummy, once a person decides, a guy's making a kli, right? Once he decides that the kli is finished, the kli can become a makabel tuma. If the kli is not finished, then it's not makabel tuma. Right? So, and when a kli is tame, if it gets broken, it loses its tuma. But if a guy just decides in his head that it's broken, that's not enough. Right? So let's see. So Eser Yishlakish Rav Yochanan. Right? This is the other way around. Kol hakelim yarden lidei tumasim b'machshava. All kelim go down to tuma in machshava, meaning once the guy who's making the kli decides that it's done, then it becomes tummy. If it now has the ability to become tummy, but if you wanted to lose its tumah status, right, a broken kli loses its tumah status, but that can't happen unless it's a maisa. Meaning, so let's say this guy is making a pot, and it's missing a handle, so the pot's not done yet. The guy says to himself, "You know what? I want this pot to use without the handle." So then a sheretz comes and touches the pot, and then the pot becomes tummy. Then the guy says, "You know what? I decided that I do want to put a handle on it. So maybe now the pot's considered broken and it loses its tumah status." That is not the case. In order for it to lose its tumah status, you have to do something physical to it, right? So like a two-way street. In order for it to become a finished utensil that works in his head is enough. In order to make it a broken utensil, it has to be an action. On top of base now.
Something in your head is nothing except for one thing. A week ago.
But for tumah, that's what I'm saying. For tumah, a utensil is that's where machshava does work.
So does it have to be some level of kli? Meaning it's got to be something. It can't just be like you're saying something can be like something that's not even close to being considered a kli. Your machshava can't just make something a kli. It has to be some way involved. It has to be at least along the process to become a kli. No, if you have a piece of pottery, can you also just have machshava for a piece of pottery to be a kli?
I don't know. You're right. It can't be just like a little slab of nothing, right?
Unless that could serve a purpose. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. I'm not sure. L'chayr has to be something. I think you're right. Okay, so on top of base, top line. Maisa might miyad maisa umiyad machshava, but a maisa can take it out of a maisa and a machshava. A machshava ain't might see a miyad maisa v'loy miyad machshava, but a machshava doesn't come not from a maisa and not from machshava. So now bishlam miyad maisa loy mafka. I understand that it doesn't, machshava doesn't change a maisa. The loy asidim mevatel maisa. Speaking cannot come and be mevatel a maisa. Elamiyad machshava miya taifik, but a machshava should be able to take out a machshava, right? But we're saying that a machshava does not take out a machshava. So you see that dibur would not be mevatel a dibur. If machshava is not mevatel a machshava, so dibur is not going to be mevatel a dibur. So one answers that there's something different about Kabbalah's tumah. Shani machshava de tumah dechi ma'isa dami. See, that's what it's saying, Naftali, that a machshava by tumah is like a ma'isa. Look to Rav Papa. The Rav Papa Ramikse. Rav Papa has a question now, because we know that by fruits, right? By fruits, a fruit can't become tummy. Fruits and vegetables can't become tummy until they get wet. But you need to want them to get wet. Like if you leave your apples outside by mistake, and it rains, and you're very unhappy they got wet, that's not called getting wet. It has to be wet with kavanah. But it says ki yitain, when you will put, meaning you're going to put the water on top of the fruit, v'karinon ki yutan, and we read it as ki yutan, right? Okay, tzad ki yutan dum yedechi yitain. Yutan is the same as yitain. Ma yitain denichale. When you put it on there, put the water, it has to be water that you want on it, meaning not just stam if it water spills on it. Af yutan, so af yutan the nichale, even when, meaning you have to want the water that you're putting on there has to be something that you want, and therefore the natural water that goes on there also has to be something that you want. So you see that what your machshava is, what's the difference? Water went on your fruits and vegetables. It should be makabel tumah. What's the difference if you want it or you didn't want it? So you see that machshava counts. By Kabbalah's tumah, machshava counts. Okay, that's the end of the shakvatar. Now the Gemara.
Let's say you do it by mistake. Would that be the other way around also?
I would think, no?
No, because that's key thing, but it needs to be something that you want. So if you do something by mistake that you didn't really want it, would that be missing machshava?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, now the Gemara does the same exact Gemara, but in a slightly different scenario. Rab Zvid, Masni Lahoshmaitza, he learned this whole Gemara on a different case, right? This previous Gemara was talking about where a man married a woman after 30 days, and we want to know if she backs out within the 30 days. This way is the other way, is the other case. Was saying this case, right? She gave reshus to her shliach to accept kedushin from somebody, right? She messed herself up, meaning she sent the shliach to get married from somebody, and then she decided to go and accept the kedushin from somebody else. If her kedushin happened first, and then she's married. But if the shliach accepted the marriage, then her kedushin is not a kedushin. But well, let's say she did not marry herself off, but she decided she does not want this shliach to get married. So Mao, what's the din? To marry her, so marry her off. So what's the din? So we're going to have the same machlokes. Rav Yochanan says she could change her mind. Rish Lakish says she can't change her mind. One diva comes and battle another diva. Rish Lakish one diva is not going to come in battle diva. I'm going to read it fast because we just did this whole thing, but halavai, I would understand it well on the first. I could say, oh, I have a right to read it so fast on the second, but that's what we do, right? So Eisvei Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish bittul. So let's say the guy was mavatal the truma, right? He not the mavatal truma. He was mavatal the shliach to take the truma. Same actually taram bittul ain't trumas the truma. If before the truma was taken, he was mavatal it, his truma is not a truma. So you see, right, that Dibur is Mavatal Dibur. It's talking about where the Balabayas went and separated the Truma himself from his own pile before the Shliach, the Havale Maisa. So it was a Maisa being Mavatal Dibur. Okay, that's Kasha number one. Kasha number two. All Kalim go down to their Tumma b'machshava, and they don't go up from the Tumma only with the Shinoi Maisa, right? Maisa Maitzi Miyad Maisa, Umiyad Machshava. A Maisa, doing a Maisa in the utensil, will take it out of another Maisa and a Machshava ain't a Maitzi. Lemiyad Maisa, Lemiyad Machshava. Doesn't take it out not from a Maisa, not from a Machshava. So Bishlam Miyad Maisa, Loy Mafka. Bishlam, it doesn't come out from a Maisa, Loy Asi Diber Vatal Maisa. Diber does not come. Vatal Maisa, Lemiyad Machshava, Miyad Tafik. But from Machshava, it should take it out because Machshava should be Vatal Machshava. Right? If you see it doesn't work, so that means l'chayra dibur can't be vatal dibur either. We said that a machshava by tuma is considered a maisa, right? Because the Rapapa Ramix if the yitain, it says when you will put water on the fruits or vegetables, a karinan ki yutan, when it will be put. Okay, tzad ki yutan dumi the yitain, my yitain the nichale. Just like when you put it on there, you have to want it. So off Yutan, even when it gets placed on there, you also have to want it. Fine. Third kasha. Esvei. Gershon Russell's brother, if anybody's wondering where he's been the last time, his brother got married tonight. I think tonight, or last night or tonight. So that's why we have a diktuk. I think his brother is 40 or something. So yeah, so he is marrying him off in Montreal. Hence he's not yeah. So Esvei Rabbi Yochanan Rishlakish Shaleach Ket Leishtoi. A guy sends a get to his wife. And he goes to the shliach, or he sends another shliach after him. And he says to him, "Get shenasati lach batel hu," and he says, "The get that I gave you, mevatel." It's batel, right? So that's Rabbi Yochanan slugging up Reish Lakish because you see that he could be mevatel. So we say tiyufta the Reish Lakish, tiyufta. It's a kasha on Reish Lakish. V'hilchus of kavasei the Rabbi Yochanan. Allah is like Rabbi Yochanan that dibur can be mevatel a dibur. Vafilu b'kamaisa. Now, we had two versions of the Gemara, right? So we're saying the halacha here. He only slugged up Reish Lakish according to the second version. He didn't slug up Reish Lakish according to the first version, right? So we're saying the halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan. We're saying even in the first version, even though you could say shanin nesinas mois that liyad isha the kamaisa domi, right? There was a way to answer it. That giving money to a woman is like a maisa, and therefore that's why dibur is not mevatel the maisa. It's not dibur being mevatel dibur; it's dibur not being mevatel maisa. Filochi asi dibur mevatel dibur. We still hold that dibur comes being mevatel dibur. Okay, so kasha hilchos al hilchos. So we have a kasha from one halacha to another. Here we say halacha is like Yochanan that dibur can be mevatel a dibur, and Amr hilchos Rabbi Yochanan. I'm sorry, Kasha Hilchos Amr Hilchos Rabbi Yochanan. The Kaimelon Hilchos Rabbi Nachman, and we say the law is like Rabbi Nachman. So the Bailu, because it was a Shiloh, Malshi Afsari Garish boy. What did this get? Right, this guy sent the get to his wife. Then he either runs after the shliach and he asks him back for the get, or he himself he sends a shliach after him. Either way. Now he changed his mind again and he wants to use this get to divorce his wife. Can he use this get or not? So Rav Nachman says you could. Rav Sheshes says you can't. Right? We say Allah is like Rav Nachman. So you see that he could go back and be megarish his wife with it. Right? So that means that the get is not batel. So you see, dibur can't be mevatel dibur. Oh, we just said that we hold that dibur is mevatel dibur. So when that's need the batel in Torah shliach, Torah's get like batel. Yeah, he was mevatel him from shliach, but from Torah's get he was not mevatel him. So meaning, yes, the shlichus was done, but the get was not done. Okay, we should go weiter, but from here starts the hard Gemara. So we'll leave it for tomorrow night. Okay, I'm going to run it down in Meir. Everybody should have themselves a fine night, and we should hear only Besuras Toyos. All right.